Hey, so I have a Flex DF implant installed in my forearm, behind the wrist up here. I've had it installed since March of 2019. You can kind of see it when I depress right here. It is about 8 millimeters wide at its widest point. I think about 28 millimeters long. So I've had it in for a while. It's pretty robust. You can kind of feel it, that it has a pretty rigid structure. And the copper coil is in the middle, right here. Actually kind of migrated over to one side. For me, it's on this side. And I'm pretty rough with it. I work in a makerspace where there's a metal shop and a wood shop. So I crush it in things semi-regularly. I bump my arm against the edges of tables and doors. And it's pretty robust. So this is an NFC reader right here, and it can read the chip pretty reliably. Much better reads with this than I get with my X series down here. You gotta get pretty close with that one, but I might be able to get, like, depending on the orientation, might be able to get like 8 centimeters, something like that, with the ACR 122U readers. So given that, I can prove that I have done a pretty good amount of damage to this thing. So you can see it's right about there. And this is the sharp edge of a screwdriver. So you're going to apply a pretty good amount of pressure, and it'll deform. You can see the shape. You got to be careful with blood vessels in a spot like this. But I can put a pretty good amount of pressure on it with a sharp metal object. Get maybe 3 or 4 centimeters of depression, or 3 or 4 millimeters of depression. You can be pretty rough with it. Flex it, move it around. And I've had it in for quite a while. So they're pretty robust. There is the concern of metal fatigue with copper, but the copper coils inside of here are airtight sealed within the biopolymer, and they are adhesed to each other. The copper itself is made of an enameled copper wire. I think it's about like 30 AWG, and it has its own adhesive applied to it. So you can see after a pretty good amount of abuse, you still get pretty good read range out of it. Mine might be diminished a bit over time because it has migrated under like a blood vessel that I have right here. And sometimes in this position I get a little bit of discomfort because it'll migrate under this blood vessel as I turn my wrist repeatedly when I'm doing activities like driving. But as far as durability goes, the Flex series are pretty good. You might encounter issues if you install a Flex series. Some people consider doing them between the metacarpal bones, or if you're installing it incorrectly, you might end up putting it directly on top of a metacarpal bone. And then the crush force between the metal object on the exterior and the bone could possibly create a kink in the copper. I doubt that would affect the connectivity of it, but it would potentially affect the impedance of the coil, and that would affect the tuning and how much read range you get. So there's a lot of factors to consider, but all told, the Flex series implants are pretty robust. So